Livia was a strikingly beautiful young woman, and today she seemed even more radiant than usual. As she walked down the street, people couldn't help but glance back at her, unable to resist the sight. That evening, after she returned home, the house phone rang. On the line was a man named Zeron. Livia had misplaced her cell phone earlier in the day, and it turned out that Zeron had found it. Calling her on her home phone, he explained, "When you left your phone behind at the hotel, I happened to be there." Curious, Livia asked, "Then why didn't you give it back right away?" Zeron chuckled softly. "Because I wanted to talk to you first. I'd like to take you out on a date." Though she had been feeling a little down, Zeron's straightforward and slightly mischievous words made her laugh. They ended up talking for quite a while, their conversation flowing easily. Before hanging up, they agreed to meet in person the following day. The next afternoon, Livia arrived at a cafe, her heart fluttering with anticipation. She couldn't wait to finally see Zeron. Then she heard someone call her name. She turned to see a man short in stature, smiling warmly at her. "Livia, I'm Zeron," her mind raced. This wasn't what she had pictured. She had imagined someone tall and conventionally handsome. Instead, Zeron was so short he had to give a small hop to sit comfortably on the cafe chair. Livia felt her expectations crumble, and Zeron noticed her reaction immediately. But he didn't seem embarrassed. "I know my height surprises people," he said gently. "Some keep their distance, others make jokes. That's why I wanted to talk to you first, before meeting face to face." Despite her hesitation, Zeron's sincerity shone through. She asked what he did for a living, and he told her he was an architect. Livia reminded him that she had mentioned yesterday that she worked at a law firm. Zeron suggested they take a boat ride together, but Livia didn't commit right away. Still, he quickly called a friend and made arrangements. She assumed it was a simple boat trip, until she realized he had brought her for skydiving instead. Moments later, they were soaring through the air, the wind rushing past them before landing safely back on the ground. The thrill made Livia forget every reservation she had about Zeron's height. She laughed, feeling exhilarated, and promised they'd meet again before heading home. That night, Zeron returned to his large house. His wife had left him a decade ago, and since then he had lived alone with his son, Rio. Zeron might have been small in stature, but his kindness and warmth were immeasurable, and Livia sensed it. She found herself smiling just thinking about him. Livia, a lawyer, had been separated from her husband Bruno for 3 years, though they still worked together as business partners. Bruno wasn't great at maintaining relationships or at running the business. He mostly seemed to enjoy arguing with her. Tired of the constant tension, Livia found herself drawn more and more to Zeron. They were eager to meet again, and one evening, Zeron invited her somewhere special. He led her through a dimly lit alley, which made Livia a little uneasy. But then, at his request, a hidden door opened to reveal a secret restaurant. Inside, everyone greeted Zeron with genuine warmth and respect. Seeing how much he was valued made Livia feel even more connected to him. Over dinner, they talked and laughed for hours. Livia realized that Zeron's height wasn't a flaw, it was simply part of who he was. Her feelings deepened, and she surprised herself by leaning in and kissing him, openly showing her affection. For the first time in a long while, Livia felt truly happy. Meanwhile, Bruno began to suspect that she had fallen for someone new. When he pressed her for details, she stayed silent. Frustrated, he asked his assistant, Eva, who revealed that Livia had been seeing a man named Zeron. Elsewhere, Zeron was at home, playing a game with Rio. Since meeting Livia, his whole demeanor had changed, lighter, more joyful. Rio noticed immediately. It was clear to him that someone special had entered his father's life. At first, Zeron keeps everything to himself and doesn't share the truth. But eventually, he opens up and tells him about Livia. Their connection was more like two close friends than a traditional father and son bond. That evening, Livia heads out with Zeron. Bruno happens to spot them together. Not long after, Zeron takes Livia to an upscale party filled with wealthy guests. The two enjoy themselves immensely, laughing and soaking in the night's energy. After the event, Zeron brings her back to his home. Over time, Livia finds herself truly falling for him. However, when he tries to get closer, she begins feeling self-conscious about his shorter stature. Zeron quickly picks up on her discomfort and gently asks her to really look at him. The moment Livia locks eyes with Zeron, she's captivated. Overcome with emotion, she leans in and kisses him. The next morning, she wakes feeling at ease. Xeron had already left for work, but not before arranging a thoughtful breakfast for her. While she's there, Rio stops by. He's genuinely happy to meet Livia, mainly because he sees her as the first woman who doesn't seem to care about Xeron's height. Later, at her office, Livia learns from Eva that Bruno knows about her relationship with Xeron. The news worries her. She fears Bruno will mock her for loving someone who's not tall. And sure enough, her instincts are correct. Bruno starts making sarcastic remarks about her relationship. But while others might let such comments get to them, Xeron focuses on what truly matters: his work and his family. He's always there for his son, offering encouragement at every turn. Rio even tells Livia how much Xeron supports him and how strong he is despite constant criticism from others. Xeron knows Livia cares deeply for him, but he senses her fear about revealing their relationship to the world. A few days later, Livia takes Xeron to meet her parents, but she doesn't yet have the courage to say he's more than a friend. In front of them, she simply introduces him as someone important in her life. As they talk, Livia notices people nearby whispering and making fun of Xeron's height. Anger flashes across her face. She walks over to them and firmly shuts down their rude comments. After her family leaves, Xeron quietly asks why she wasn't honest. Livia admits she wants to be with him, but it's not easy to face the judgment of others. She kisses him, asking for more time before going public with their relationship. The next day, Xeron surprises her at the office. She's thrilled to see him, until Bruno once again mocks him in front of her. After Xeron leaves, Bruno even teases Livia directly. One day, Livia gathers the courage to tell her mother she's in love. At first, her mother is overjoyed, but when she hears that the man is Xeron, her excitement fades into disbelief. A few days later, Xeron hosts a party at his home and invites Bruno as well. With so much to do and the housekeeper Martha not helping, Xeron rolls up his sleeves and handles the preparations himself. Xeron's real motive for inviting Bruno was to ease the tension between him and Livia, but Bruno refuses to let go of his unkind behavior. Meanwhile, Livia's mother is actively trying to discourage the relationship, insisting Xeron is too short for her daughter. Livia's father, however, sees things differently. He tells her mother, Xeron's height isn't the problem, your perception is. He knows Xeron gives Livia the happiness she never had with Bruno. Still, Bruno keeps making fun of them, pushing Livia to her breaking point. One evening, while at Xeron's home, she confesses that she can't bear to watch people mock him anymore. With tears in her eyes, she admits she can't stay with him, even though she desperately wants to. Xeron, who has always loved her deeply, is crushed. Though he lets her walk away, it feels like his whole world collapses. Their separation changes him. Xeron, usually calm and kind-hearted, starts losing his patience easily. One day, he asks Rio what he really thinks about his height. Rio responds with honesty. People do make jokes about you, and I know that. But I never cared, because you don't let it define you. I love you, Dad. You're the best father in the world because you've faced every challenge with courage and a smile. Xeron misses Livia as much as she misses him. She wants to run back to him, but pride and fear hold her back. She tries to move on, but can't. One day, her mother visits and urges her to return to Xeron. She tells Livia that no one will ever love her better than he does. Moved by her mother's words, Livia rushes, quite literally skydiving into Xeron's life once again. She apologizes for leaving and tells him she's learned the importance of avoiding people with narrow minds. In the end, Xeron forgives her. They embrace, letting love win over prejudice, and that's where their story closes.